I hope you two will be comfortable up there.
Oh, George, it's fine.
It is the master bedroom, and in the master must have been a dwarf.
You know, it was a tent in the sand last time, do you remember?
Yes, the Baalbek dig. Oh, yes, all those mosaics, the temple of Jupiter.
The flies?
Oh, yes, we mustn't forget the flies.
Oh, what a lovely cottage this is. What is it, early 16th century?
1509.
Oh.
I found a brick up there.
He hadn't been in the place 10 minutes, it was up the chimney.
Well, I had to know.
You know, give him half a chance, he'd be ripping up the floorboards.
Nonsense,
The owners would come
Norman.
back and find a ruin.
I know. Nothing sacred to an archaeologist.
Now then, who's for a drink?
Yes,
Oh,
Steve.
I'd like a vodka, Norman, please. A vodka tonic.
Same for me, thank you, Norman.
Okay, George.
Oh, usual, please, Sherry. Oh, yes, I'll open the claret. Let it breathe. Have to let it breathe.
Is there anything I can do?
No. We're highly organised
Very
here.
well organised, thank you.
Someone comes in from the village and does the cooking and
Mrs.
that.
Graiseley.
And she divides her time between us and the church. They're a devout lot here.
We saw the church on the way here, actually.
It's rather trim.
Yes,
isn't
it's a
it?
fascinating place, isn't it? It's built on the side of an old monastery.
11th century.
In fact, part of it now forms a crypt.
No need to tell you that we were under the crypt like ferrets and up with some early
bet we
Christian
were.
relics. Norman here is doing a paper on them, aren't you, dear?
There must have been something else on the side at one time. It's interesting. Anyway, the vicar's being very sweet, which is more than we can say for the rest of the village.
Oh, dear, are they again you, are they?
Oh,
they are
that's
that.
just like that. Well, they're not exactly pro.
Is this some of the stuff you found, George?
Yes, just the stuff we want to photograph. We store everything else in the crypt. The vicar being good again.
He'll have you on a tour of the church, by the way.
Oh, it's obligatory.
Is it really? How old are these?
That 3000 BC, give or take a few minutes. Yes, it's what you might call Bronze Age psychedelic. The ancient Celts were all barking mad. That's the lovely thing about them. You see that? It's called a returning spiral.
We built a tunnel right to the centre of the barrow. Found one of the burial chambers.
Tutankhamun, but quite jolly. Thank you.
That's a knife hilt, is it, George?
Yes, yes, a sacrificial knife. Actually, we had it reproduced.
For the museum.
Here you are.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it must have looked
Oh,
like.
yes,
Huh?
yeah.
It's a two-handed job, you see. Now just picture the scene, eh? 100 hairy Celts round the tumulus. Fires,
Torches!
full moon,
A lot.
and the victim laid out on the altar stone.
The victim?
Well, it's a human sacrifice, naturally.
Oh, that.
The priest raises the knife
He's a lunatic.
with a beer practically down to his knees. Suddenly there's a terrific silence. Yes, Mrs. Graysley.
Lunch seems to be ready, Mr. Robertson.
Ah, about 10 minutes.
Yes, sir.
I must say, it smells delicious.
Casserole.
Oh, God, forgive him. Oh, please, God, forgive him.
St. Elred, one of our earliest Christian martyrs. He came over at the time of St. Augustine to convert the pagans. And is said to have founded the monastery at which this church is built.
Really?
See, Upper Marston has been a place of worship since time immemorial. Oh, Sir Geoffrey de Marston, late 13th century. He was lord of the manor, carried out many improvements. And there, alas, you see the cracks. There's been a gradual subsidence over the past 50 years. The situation is becoming very critical, I'm afraid.
What could happen?
You may well ask, Mr. Temple. We could lose the church. It's a possibility. A dreadful possibility, but real enough.
Does it need a lot of money?
£5,000.
Oh.
As there's the restoration fund, the parishioners have done sterling work, but we need the support of the whole diocese. That's why I'm very grateful to your friends, the archaeologists.
Oh, yes, yes. They told us they'd been working down in the crypt.
Yes, there was a report in the press about their findings. The bishop was delighted. Something like that makes the whole difference.
Yeah.
We depend entirely upon the bishop. Come, let me show you the crypt.
Oh, fine.
Mr. Bale spends nearly all his spare time down here. I find his enthusiasm most refreshing. I can only hope he may come upon something really significant. Of course, one hesitates to speculate, but... It's just monstrous. Unbelievable. Mr. and Mrs. Temple, I must apologize. In my whole life, I've never encountered anything such as this. That anyone should desecrate our church.
Yeah. You keep the church locked, don't you?
Yes.
Well, who could have got in here between the services?
I don't know. I haven't the remotest idea.
Is there more than one key?
Yes, 3 to be exact. Mine, Mr. Orme, the sexton, has one, and Mr. Wormald, the organist. Well, if you'll excuse me, I'll get Mr. Orme to clear this away immediately. Oh, could I please ask you to be discreet? I mean, if word got round. Of course. Thank you.
Bravo, Michael. Bravo. Good afternoon's work.
Henry.
Oh, Vicar.
Oh, this is Mr. and Mrs. Paul Temple. I'm Henry Wormald, our organist. And,
Hello.
young Michael Roth.
Michael?
How'd you do?
Henry, do you recall if the church door was locked when you arrived?
Locked, Vicar? Yes, I opened it myself. Is something wrong?
No. I merely wondered. Perhaps you tell Mr. Orme that I'd like to see him.
Certainly, Vicar. Goodbye, Mrs. Temple. Mr. Temple.
Goodbye.
Mind the slope.
Tiptoe through the cumulus.
George, it goes too far.
Oh, it's a morbid occupation.
Well, everyone to his taste.
Haven't heard of it.
You know, we reckon there must be 150 people buried here.
Oh, at least.
Oh, it's quite a big settlement then, eh?
Yes.
There's no trace of that, I'm afraid.
We know, though, that it must have been a very early invasion. Now that, you see. Now, they were evidently killed in battle. Excuse me. Now, you see where the skull's all broken in? And those are arrowheads.
Fascinating.
Yeah, we thought they were sacrificial victims.
And then we found more and more of them, didn't we?
Hey, look, there's some crockery over here. More suitable for the ladies.
What's that?
Are you all right in there? Yes. Is everybody all right?
Yes, we're all right.
The idea, I take it, was to bury us alive?
Or frighten us?
It was a damn good try.
Yeah, 10 out of 10, whoever he is.
Well, maybe it was just to warn you two off.
Why?
Well, you said people around here resented you, didn't you?
Oh, good gracious, not to that extent. I mean, it's a tiny village.
Yeah, and they don't care much for strangers.
Then we
Okay,
made
so-
friends with the vicar and everything was all right.
Until this afternoon.
Or this morning.
What?
What, your free-range ritual sacrifice in the crypt? Do you think there could be a connection?
It's unlikely. It might shock the vicar, but it would hardly discourage us.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, what if it was a warning? Paul?
What about this organist fellow? Is it Wormald?
Oh, no, I won't have that. He's a harmless old chap. He's an amateur archaeologist.
He's been prodding about the tumulus for years.
We did give him the key to the tunnel.
Yes, but then we gave the vicar one as well, don't you remember? So he could show friends around.
Yes, that's right. He keeps it in the vestry.
Oh, well, that widens the field.
Yes, it does, doesn't it?
Paul, I know how fascinated you are by the problem. From where I'm sitting, I can see his powers of deductive reasoning hard at work. But shouldn't we also tell the police?
Well, yes, of course, strictly speaking, we should. I just think a more discreet approach would be better than police action at this point.
All right, but what do we say?
Well, say it was an accident. You can always find the pit props later, can't you?
We've got to clear the tunnel anyway.
Yes, but I want you all to be very careful.
Paul, what's on your mind?
Bath, change, and another drink.
Orm.
Yes.
About that business yesterday.
Oh, I'll attend to it, sir. I've just let Mr. Temple into the church, sir.
I see. Thank you.
Oh, Vicar, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Temple.
I hope you don't mind my,
Oh, no, not at all. So few people take an interest these days.
Yeah.
May I say how very upset I was to hear about your accident yesterday?
Oh, that. Yes, it was a bit alarming, but nobody was hurt, fortunately.
Because I'd have come straight over to the cottage, but I was at Chartford, a meeting of the Restoration Committee.
Oh,
I was horrified when Mr. Wormald told me when I got back. Because one does feel a certain responsibility. The barrow is on church land, you know.
really? It's strange, isn't it, to think of two such monuments on the same plot?
Worlds apart, Mr. Temple.
That's what I meant.
A joke of the most despicable kind. Better forgotten, better ignored.
You haven't considered the other possibility, then? I mean that it might not have been a joke.
If that were the case, I must say I simply wouldn't know what to think.
Well, that barrow being so close by, a matter of cross-fertilization, so to speak.
Come, Mr. Temple, we are living in the 20th century.
Are we? Tell me, Vicar, has anything like this ever happened before?
Not in my experience.
I just wondered.
Well, if you'll excuse me, I have some work to do.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Come in. Oh, hello, Mr. Temple.
Ah, I thought I'd let you know I was just leaving.
Well, thank you very much, sir.
No, thank you. Do you get many visitors here?
Oh, the odd passerby in the summertime. I show them round, or the vicar does. 3 new pence for the church pamphlet, something in the box, it all helps.
Yes. Do you think you'll get the money for the North Wall?
Oh, I hope so, sir. Before it gets any worse and the council condemned the building, it'd break the young vicar's heart, that would.
It really is that serious, is it?
Oh, indeed it is, sir. Very, very serious. Desperate, you might say.
Well, what about that tumulus? Couldn't you raise money there? Organize conducted tours or something?
The tumulus? Well, no, I wouldn't know about that, sir. It's not my province.
Ah, you don't approve of taking money from a pagan shrine to help the church?
Well, no, I didn't say that, Mr. Temple.
No, I just thought maybe, you know, what with that incident in the crypt yesterday, there might be some bad feeling.
Bad feeling?
Yes, you know, between the church and the old beliefs.
Oh, now you're being fanciful, sir.
Or has somebody just got it in for the vicar?
Well, I doubt it. I couldn't really say. I mean, it's not my place. I'm only the sexton here. Well, if you'll pardon me, sir, I've still got some scrubbing to do downstairs. It's all go, you see.
They'll all be into lunch then.
Yes. There'll be enough casserole, I should think.
Well, when I've done the runs, I'll see to it. Gone back up there again, have they?
To the tumulus, yes.
Far better if they left it alone.
Oh, now, Mrs.
Tempting Providence, that's what that is.
It was an accident.
Nothing happens that isn't intended.
Maybe, but the work was commissioned by a museum.
There's
and they
enough
do
in
have-
museums, Mrs. Temple, without disturbing the dead.
Mrs. Graisley, do you mind the digging in the crypt? The vicar approves.
I don't mind anything, Mrs. Temple. That's not my place. And if the vicar approves, then I... Just so long as nobody gets armed.
Yes, that's Michael's. I'll return it to him. Thank you.
It seems he spends quite a lot of time up there.
Yes, I give him the key whenever he wants it. Mr. Robertson doesn't mind.
You know, it occurred to us that this accident we had in the tunnel might have been caused by vandalism.
Well, it wasn't Michael.
No,
Well,
I'm
he'd
sure.
be the last person.
Oh, if his notebook's anything to go by, I agree with you. No, I just wondered if you might have any ideas.
No, none at all. I can't imagine who'd do such a thing, such a wicked, pointless thing. Michael will be very upset when he hears about this. That tumulus is very important to him.
I must say, he struck me as being a serious-minded boy.
Oh, he is.
And is he a good pupil?
The organ? Oh, he's a joy to teach. He has a remarkable feeling for church music, a quite extraordinary talent. He's just sat for a scholarship, you know, St. Mark's College. He'll pass, of course, pass with honours. I'm certain of it.
Well, you must be very proud of him.
Yes, I am, Mr. Temple.
And his interest in archaeology, does he owe that to you too?
Yes, I introduced him to the subject. I thought it might help him.
Help him?
Yes, I wanted to take him out of himself. Well, that was the idea, really. You see, Michael does have his difficulties. Ah, there he is. Good morning, Michael.
Morning, Mr. Warmall. Morning, sir.
Good morning, Michael.
He's, very imaginative, as you might expect. It hasn't been easy for him. You, haven't met his father, by any chance? Sam Roth, the builder?
No. No, I haven't. I must let you get on with your work.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello, Steve.
Remind me to check. Oh, sorry.
Hey, what's happened to Mrs. Graisley?
I think she went home. I'm afraid I upset her.
Oh, dear, what happened?
Well, I don't really know. She was going on about the tumulus and how it ought to be left alone. And then I said something about the crypt and she got all angry.
Well, that's not like her.
I didn't get another word out of her all morning. She rushed through her work and fled.
Funny woman. What do we know about her apart from the fact that she cleans the church?
She's a very good cook.
No, what was it that the owner of the cottage told us?
Oh, about the girl.
Yes, there was some tragedy in her life. She had a daughter of about 14 who was drowned a couple of years ago, or presumed to be, wasn't that it?
No.
Yeah, our clothes are found by the river.
But the body was never recovered. I think that was it.
Yes, that was it.
Darling, what exactly did you say to her?
And Paul, I can't remember. It was one of those
Well, come
potty...
on, try and think.
Well, it was when we got to talking about the crypt. I asked her if she minded the digging, and I said the vicar... That was it. I said the vicar approved, and she started to say something about the vicar, changed her mind, and said something about people being harmed.
Expect to find down there?
Well, I knew that I wouldn't be looking, would I? Where are the others?
Your wife's gone for a drive.
Oh.
I think George is going to see Sam Roth.
Sam Roth?
Yeah, about the new pit cross.
Oh, of course.
Anyway, since we'll be cooling our heels for a few days, I thought, you know, might as well amuse myself down here.
Fine, have fun.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll see you later.
Ta-ra.
3-inch pine, 2 dozen 5-foot lengths. All right, Squire?
Yes, that's fine. When can you deliver?
Get 'em up there, Thursday.
Yes, that's fine, thanks.
Hey, mind how you go this time. Clay's treacherous stuff, you know.
Yes. Oh, by the way, I met your son Michael today up at the church with Mr. Wormold.
Wormold. Boy of mine needs to get out in the open air more. Him singing, organ playing. It's too much bloody religion, that's his trouble. Well, I'll, see you, Squire.
Yes, right, thanks, Mr. Roth. Bye.
Right.
I didn't know what to do. This is terrible. Terrible.
find him?
Yes, sir. But when he didn't come back with the key, I got worried.
I'm sorry, Mr. Robertson. I am deeply sorry.
Can I telephone from here?
The vestry.
I warned him, sir, countless times about excavating so close to the north wall, but he insisted he knew what he was doing.
That's right, Sergeant. It's intelligence. Yes, yes, we will, thank you.
Please?
Yes.
Yes, I suppose. Awful business. He was doing so much good for St. Eldred's. It's almost like...
Who was in the church this afternoon?
Well, I came here to see Mrs. Graysley about some flower arrangements, and Michael and Wormald were here for organ practice.
Anybody else?
No. Oh, yes, Sam Roth, the builder. He came to look at the north wall. Then I got called away for a meeting and left him talking to Mrs. Graysley. Well, why do you ask? It was an accident.
Yes, yes, it does seem like that, doesn't it?
He could have fallen, grabbed the edge of the vault, and pulled the masonry down on top of him. Or the piece of wall could have collapsed while he was working at the bottom of the vault. Nobody around here had any sort of grudge against him.
Well, he was doing the parish a favour.
So the vicar said. There is one point. What was he doing working here and not at the tumulus?
Oh. Well, we had some trouble there yesterday. A gallery caved in.
Caved in?
Well, we don't really know what happened. It will have to be dug out.
Well, there'll have to be a post-mortem, you understand. I'll let you know about the inquest in due course. That'll be all for the moment, I think.
All right, Inspector. Goodbye.
Angry. They're angry. Started killing again.
Who's angry?
The tumulus men.
Oh, tumulus men. What nonsense. You've had a bad dream, that's all. Just a silly dream. Nothing but a silly dream. There. You lie down again and go back to sleep. It's all over now. All finished. I'll leave the light on for a little, shall I? If you promise to go straight back to sleep. Daddy and I are just next door.
It's nightmares.
Enough to wake the dead. Small wonder he has nightmares. Should get out and about more. You boys of his own age.
Don't start that again.
Well, it's true. Been stuck in that church all day, playing a bloody organ. Anyone that's screaming widdies.
He's not in the church all day.
They're bloody hours. What that lad needs is a good game of football. When? Last 3 months he's been sweating on that scholarship. And where's the good of it?
It'll advance him in the world.
Advance? An organist playing to a lot of empty churches?
No church is ever empty, Sam.
I should never have agreed. I should have put my foot down. But you and this God-bothering bloody community... Why? Is he listening?
Yes. He's listening.
Tomorrow's big race,
talk
the
like that in this
2000
house,
the
not
second
even from you.
of the season, has brought out only 6 runners, the smallest field since 1885. Here's Peter Bromley.
Yes, this doesn't really matter because this 2000 Guinness has captured the imagination of racing people everywhere. And I think
I'm only trying to protect the boy.
You see, 2 outstanding 2-year-old colts emerged from last season. My Swallow, who...
I mean, what's Wormhole know about kids?
He's done so much for Michael.
Well, who's Michael's dad then? Me or Wormhole? Tell me that.
Michael is different. He has this gift. Oh, Sam.
I'd like to give Wormhole a piece of my mind. Yes, and the bloody vicar.
But you won't, will you? Not you. You know which side your bread's buttered on.
Just about what there is between these 2 horses, the width of a packet of cigarettes. Well, this season, both horses have won.
I don't believe it was an accident. I think Bales was murdered.
Why are you telling me, Mr. Temple?
Well, this is your parish vicar. It was one of your parishioners who followed us into the tunnel that day, the same man who killed Bales.
You seem very sure.
For that piece of masonry to have fallen on Bales, he must have been working down in the vaults, and yet all his tools were up on the floor of the crypt.
It's a little tenuous, Mr. Temple.
Well, not when you take it together with the tumulus and those damaged pit props.
Well, who could have possibly wanted to kill him? What could they gain? Absolutely nothing.
What do you know about Mrs. Graiseley and that daughter of hers, the one who disappeared, who was drowned?
Jill Graiseley? No, all that happened in my predecessor's time. No doubt there'll be rumors circulating, but I've always made it a policy never to discuss gossip. I mean, in a small community like mine, if I did, my job would be made impossible.
Rumors, Vicar?
I've told you I never listened to them.
I see. Well, what kind of a man was your predecessor?
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Well, he was getting on in years. His health had not been too good. Not up to the job at all. Out of touch with reality. And one does want to be charitable, but he let everything go to ruin.
What do you mean by that?
Well, the church, of course.
Hello, Vicar.
Well, I'd better be getting along. Good day, Mrs. Temple.
You know, it might not have happened if I'd called the police right away.
Oh, Paul, you're not blaming yourself, are you?
I never dreamt they'd go this far. They, he, whoever it is who's trying to keep the lid down on something that happened in this village.
Could it be something in the vault?
No, I searched it. Of course, there could be other vaults down there. Maybe Norman, without knowing it, came very close to the truth. Morning, Mr. Brown.
Morning, Mr. Temple. It's my fault. My fault entirely. I started it all, taking him up there. I had to gain his confidence, do you see, so that he would go on with his lessons. It was most important. But he was afraid to spend too much time in his church because of his father.
Oh, yes, I met his father. I must say
it became a sort of way of escape, I think, from family conflicts. Sort of finding his own religion, as it were. I didn't know how to deal with it, how to cope with it.
But these sacrifices, why exactly?
When the archaeologists started digging, he got the idea, I think, that the old gods might be angry. It was only a childish notion. He didn't mean any harm. He wouldn't do anything to hurt anybody. I hope your friend Robertson understands that.
Oh, of course. Yeah. And he was very upset when Bales was killed, wasn't he?
Well, of course he was. Extremely upset. He got it into his head, I think, that the priests were taking their revenge. Well, he is only a child, Mr. Temple. And that he had to offer them something to atone. Something he really valued.
What about this other child, Jill Graisley? Did she have anything to do with the tumulus?
No, nothing. Well, how could she? She drowned herself. She was rather simple-minded, poor creature.
You do believe she was drowned, then?
What? Well, yes, of course I do. She must have been.
Yeah. And that was in the Reverend Clark's time.
Yeah.
Of course, you must have known him.
Oh, yes, I knew him all right. Oh, he was no good as a vicar. Too old, too weak. He'd no talent for the job. Oh, it was a shame, really. Beautiful old church like this. This is a historic monument, you know.
Yeah.
Of course, I can't blame the man. It wasn't his fault. It was that damned sister of his and her husband. I spent months copying these out.
The Reverend Clark's sister and her husband?
Look, if I knew anything definite, Mr. Temple, I'd tell you. But I don't.
I see. Thank you.
Oh, what's the use?
Afternoon, Mrs. Graisley. You're always working.
Yes. Mr. Rolfe's men come in from time to time, do a bit of patching. All they ever do is make a mess. Don't even keep the weather out.
Why not do the job properly, eh?
Well, they will one day if the vicar ever gets the money. I only hope that Mr. Rolfe has a different set of men by then. They've no respect, any of them. Always laughing and joking. There are some things you shouldn't joke about.
Hello, Mr. Orme.
Hello, Mr. Temple. Are you, looking for anything, sir?
No, no, thank you. I just dropped in to have a word with Mr. Wormold. Afternoon. Oh, hello, Michael. Can I come in?
There's nobody here.
No, no, I know. I want to talk to you. Should you be at organ practice now?
I'm not going.
Oh, that's rather a pity, isn't it?
I'm not going again, never.
Because of the music sheets? Oh, Mr. Wormold understands. He's not angry with you, you know. Michael, I think I understand too. So, will you listen to me a moment? You know, Michael, it's no use you making offerings to that tumulus. The old priests are dead. They've all been dead for centuries, so they can't harm anybody, can they? But there is somebody in this village, somebody living, who is trying to harm people. He killed Mr. Bales, and he may kill somebody else. That's why, you see, I have to find out who it is. And I want you to help me.
I don't understand what you're talking about. I can't help you.
Michael, somebody that you see every day, say good morning to, talk to, is a murderer. Now, I can't catch him unless I find out certain things. About Jill Graisley, for instance.
Jill? But she's dead.
Yes, yes, I know. But have you any idea what happened to her?
No. How should I? Nobody knows. It's something I'm not supposed to talk about.
Well, I think it's high time people did talk about it. Won't you tell me?
She was drowned. She was a bit gone in the head. She wasn't to blame.
To blame? To blame for what?
They shouldn't have taken her there. Made her do those things, or she'd be alive now.
You mean taking her to the tumulus? You knew her death was connected with that place, didn't you? Was it because of Mr. Clark's sister and her husband? Yes, I do know about them. Mr. Wormold told me. Did they used to go to the tumulus?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yes, you do know. Michael, tell me.
I saw them one night. The three of them. They had candles, and I was scared. I ran away.
What were they doing? Come on, Michael, tell me.
An old man was holding a cross. He had it the wrong way up. He was chanting. No one ever talks about, Jill.
And you said nothing about it at the time?
I forgot about it.
And Jill?
She disappeared. I didn't let on about what I'd seen. I didn't dare. Everyone acted so strange.
Thank you, Michael. You're not keeping anything back, are you?
Black magic?
Yes. The Reverend Clark's sister and her husband. I believe they terrorized that old man into letting them perform their rites in the tumulus and probably in the church as well. Well, Vicar?
I can't think how you arrived at this, nor indeed where it might be leading.
To Jill Gracely for a start. Paul thinks they needed an accomplice and they used that poor half-wit girl.
But something went wrong. Probably they had to kill her.
You're guessing. You're merely guessing,
He's
Mr.
trying
Temple.
to get at the truth.
I can't help you. I'm sorry, but I can't.
Steve? Oh. Good evening, Vicar. Well, I've been with the police all the afternoon. Poor Norman. You were quite right, Paul. They've got the results of the post-mortem and they're treating it as murder.
Why? What did they say?
Well, they'll tell you themselves. They're on their way from Chartford now.
Well, that seems to settle it. Vicar, why won't you tell me what happened to Jill Gracely?
I don't know. Nobody does. She may very well have drowned herself.
But it did have something to do with the Reverend Clark's sister and her husband, didn't it?
Yes, perhaps. I admit you've come close to the truth there. Dear God, I've lived with this for 2 years. You're right, they did practice their rituals in the crypt. Worship of the old gods, some madness or other. And they certainly made use of the girl.
And you didn't insist on an investigation?
There was no positive proof. I was trying to pull the parish together after years of neglect. Get the restoration fund going. A scandal would have destroyed all my hopes.
So you just kept silent?
What else could I have done?
Yes, but what has all this got to do with Norman?
Well, he did spend a lot of his spare time digging in the vault.
Yes, I told you he was doing a paper.
Probably discovered something incriminating. And somebody trying to protect St. Eldred's murdered him. Someone has the interests of your church very much at heart.
Michael, your supper's ready. Come and have it while it's hot. Come along. Michael.
According to the medical report, he was dead before he hit the floor of the vault. A blow on the back of the head.
Which couldn't have been caused by the falling masonry.
Well, you don't seem very surprised, Mr. Temple.
Well, I think we both noticed his tools on the floor of the crypt.
Quite. Well, anyway, he was attacked from behind, struck over the head, and pushed into the vault. And the masonry was pulled down on top of him. The only thing we do lack is a motive.
How about misplaced loyalty?
What?
Do you remember the case of a young girl who was drowned in the river here a couple of years ago?
Yes, I do. It's on our files, but that was suicide.
Well, you see, I believe that that was also murder. The couple who were responsible have disappeared, but the man who killed Norman Bales is very much with us. And I've a pretty good idea who it is.
Have you, Mr. Temple? Well, in that case, I think you better do the talking, because as far as we're concerned, Bales didn't have an enemy in the world.
Hello? Yes, Vicar. No, he's not. When? I see. Young Michael Roth's disappeared. You're at the vicarage now? All right. Apparently his mother got worried and went to the vicarage.
Well, maybe he's with Mr. Wormald.
No. She went there and his house is empty.
Haven't they tried the church?
Michael? Michael?
Michael? Mr. Wormald, what are you doing here?
Looking for Michael.
Get a doctor! She knew, didn't she?
She knew enough. She said she was going to tell and that I couldn't stop her.
What were you going to do with that?
Put her down there, where they put Jill. I was in the vestry the night it happened. I heard everything.
But you told no one.
What could I say that wouldn't bring shame on us all? Sexton here, and my grandfather. There've been orms looking after this
I
church.
know, since the 17th century. Quite a family concern.
I went to the tumulus. Then I suddenly wanted to play the organ. I wanted to play the organ more than I've ever wanted anything in my life. So I came here.
All right. You can play tomorrow. Come, I'll take you home now.